Today's quick tricks when you're in a fix comes from Tanya from I Teach Modern, and she asks, how do I find out again what size my images should be for my blog posts? Well, here's the answer, Tanya. So in any browser that you're using, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, even Internet Explorer, there is a kind of quick option that you can use to inspect the different parts of the page and to find out what their specifications are. So for example, how wide is this image? How much padding is around it? What font size is this heading? What font family is being used? All of those kinds of interesting questions and more. So the answer is quite simple. All we need to do on any page, and let's look at Chrome first, is right click on the page and look for this option, Inspect Element. Pretty much regardless what browser you're using, they generally all refer to Inspect Element. So it's pretty easy to find. So we just click on that and we'll see now a panel appears at the bottom of our page which has all the kind of HTML code and all the kind of geeky stuff that happens behind the scenes of our websites and blogs. But we're not going to worry about this area down the bottom too much. You can see as I'm scrolling over things, it's kind of you're starting to get a feel for what I'm talking about, starting to give some dimensions and properties popping up on the screen. But what we're looking for in Chrome is this little magnifying glass, which makes sense. We're wanting to have a closer look at what's on the page. So now that I've got that selected, any item that I scroll over specifically on the page now shows me some details. So we can see here for this image, the width is 750 pixels and the height is 280 pixels. So there's Tanya's answer straight away. Tanya, easy as that. Right click, choose Inspect Elements, and then inspect the element on the page that you're interested in. Cool. If I click on that image, I can also see a little bit more over the right hand side here, specific styles for that image, and it might make a little bit more sense if we click onto the header. So again, I'll just choose my magnifying glass and then click on the heading. I can see that this is an H2 heading. I can see the width and the height, which probably isn't of much interest to me, but if I click on them, over in the right hand here I can see, if I just kind of look, ignore all the other kind of stuff that I might not understand and look for the H2, I can see the color, I can see the margin bottom, I can see the font family, font size, margin top, etc. So that's giving me some really interesting details about that might be exactly what I'm looking for. So that's as easy as it is, and I can use that inspector to look at any elements on the page. I can even things that are from plugins or the paragraph widths of my actual post. So it's easy. Okay, let's just have a quick look at a couple of other browsers. Firefox. Once again, if we just right click on the page and we see our inspect element option, this looks a little bit different down the bottom and we don't have the same magnifying glass, but we've got this little arrow, and that's often a little indicator that I'm going to use that arrow to then hover over my elements on the page to inspect them. So for the image size, again, this is really easy, just popping up on the screen. But once again, if I actually just give it a little click, I can see over on the right hand side here the actual details for that element. And once again, just looking at the heading, the H2, over on the side here, I can see, thankfully, the same kind of specs that I was getting before. Color, margin bottom, font size, font family, etc. Okay, I'll just show you one more quick one because this is a little bit different. Safari. So this is somebody else's website by regina.com. Has lots of awesome posts and resources. So have a look at that. That's another quick tip for you. Just throwing that one in for free. But this one in Safari, if I right click on my page, I seem to not have the inspect element. So that actually is because I don't have the developer tools turned on in Safari. By default, they're turned on in Chrome and Firefox, but Safari is a little bit different. So just be aware of that. All I need to do is go up under the Safari drop-down preferences, and in the Advanced tab, if I click Show Develop Menu in menu bar, close that down. Now my Develop option is up there, and if I right-click, which I'm having a little bit of trouble doing, yeah, Inspect Element has now appeared at the bottom there. Once again, I get my little section at the bottom open up. With Safari, I have to go all the way over here to inspect, but generally you can see they're fairly kind of commonsensical. You can just open them up and oops, and there you go. When that one's blue, I can hover over the things that I'm interested in and find out the elements of them. And if I click on it, then that shows me here. I probably have to click to styles. There we go. We see that little right pane again. So showing us the specs for each element that I'm clicking on. So I hope it's helpful to you next time you're trying to remember how wide your images should be, or you're trying to remember what size you should make your headings, that you can just right click and go inspect element. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.